Uh, Greetings to you, my friends, wherever you may be in the world today. Alan Clements here in Santa Monica, Los Angeles, of course, United States, planet Earth. Thank you for tuning in today to talk spontaneously about a very important topic to me, and I know many of you, the country of Myanmar, Burma. Why Burma matters. What to do, what to know. Okay. Now, if I can invite you to tune in, hang, relax. I'm more of a long-form speaker. I take my time. I'm not a Twitter soundbite type. And it's a super complex situation that I'm going to do everything within my heart and power to simplify and to elevate and to hopefully support the good people in Burma in their aspiration for decency, rule of law, for universal human rights, for the right to breathe in peace and the sanctity of a life and the security of freedom from fear. That's all the people who care about freedom want in the world. And the people of Burma, I know them well. Okay, point one, freedom. The absence of freedom to me is one of the greatest shocking horrors to imagine. Pause. I have spent the better part of 43 years in and out of the country of Myanmar, known as Burma as well. I've been blessed by this culture. I've been blessed by my teachers, Mahasi Sayadaw, the great mindfulness Dhamma teacher, Sayadaw U Pandita, his heir. I've spent years with these gentlemen. I've been blessed to have dialogues for months with Daw Aung San Suu Kyi, with U Tin U, U Win Tain, U Win Tin, U Chi Mang. These are the leaders of your country. They have so much collective wisdom, and may I invite you to bear with me. I don't put myself on their pedestal, but I would like to share with you what I imagine they would want us to know at this most important juncture in world history, in Burma's history, and to seize the moment, carpe diem, to seize the moment in the most intelligent way. That's a key word. In the most intelligent, compassionate, meta-fused way. It's easy to say down with dictators, but what is skillful here is the issue for me. What is really, really skillful? Now, many of you know that I spent a lot of years with Sayadaw U Pandita. We did many books together. More recently, a book called Wisdom for the World, Advice for the People of My Country, a little-known book. May I invite you? He has offered in this small book a playbook, a how to engage dictatorship through the lens of dignity, of human rights, of compassion, engaged Buddhism, through thought, speech, and action. Get that book wherever you can find it, Wisdom for the World. He has offered this before he passed away in 2016. The other thing is, ironically, it was unplanned, Burma's Voices of Freedom, co-authored with my friend Fergus Harlow and colleague and Burma expert, 4 volumes of your people, 8 years on the ground over the last 10 years since Daw Suu was released in 2010. They have offered up in the long-form interview what to know, what to do, and how to take the situation into your hands and to bring democracy to your people, okay? From my point of view. I'm thinking today, if I'm in dialogue with Sayadaw U Pandita or Daw Aung San Suu Kyi or U Win Tin or U Win Tain, U Chi Mang, U Tin U, what would they say? U Pandita was very adamant with me over the many years, and I know as Daw Suu's teacher, meditation teacher, and spiritual advisor, and a real architect, if you will, for nonviolent action and also what he called the Dhamma of reconciliation, how to navigate the the treachery and the difficulty of darkness and moha and loba and dosa, anger, greed, and delusion. How do you work with those forces when it's embedded in society culturally, systemically? And how do you overcome them without might, without force, but with the Dhamma force? And he often encouraged me, and I think those of you who know him will testify to this. He often encouraged me, Alan, not to demonize the other, not to vilify the other. If you notice Daw Aung San Suu Kyi's speeches, her talks, her manner, rarely can you find her critical. She's criticized for not being critical. Rarely do you find her or the leaders critical of people who've raped, imprisoned, tortured, vilified, abused, denigrated family members. It is not Stockholm Syndrome. It is the virtue of transformation, as I can gather, through non-violent means. Burma, your country, we're bearing witness through our own action. You have an opportunity here to seize the global meme, the global paradigm, the global new expression of revolution. What will it look like, okay, without vilifying, demonizing, or using violence upon those who may very well inflict it? Let us learn from history. You know better than me. 2007, Saffron Revolution. The military were unrepentant with gunning down the nuns and monks, chanting metta. Say no more about 1988 and the dark years under Slork, the several thousand people killed mercilessly up close. We do not want to give anyone in so-called military power even the slightest trigger to resort to what they do, which is to violate, denigrate, and use all means necessary to maintain wrongful control, okay? So U Pandita would encourage me, Alan, imagine consciousness like a flower. You will know this if you're a Buddhist. Bhavana, the beautification of consciousness. You don't change the flower by examining the darkness between the petals. You nurture the opening. Like one's own meditation practice, you invest in loving kindness, you invest in mudita, you invest in compassion. But when the enemy appears, it's so easy to feel violated and denigrated, and you want to strike back. Rather, from a Dhamma point of view, the new birth of a new form of revolution is the Bhavana revolution. How to inspire change in the military mindset within Myanmar. That is the equation. It's not about vilifying General Min Aung Hlaing. His own behavior vilifies him. He knows that. His wife probably knows that. His colleagues and friends know that. Deep down inside, for whatever reason, he's been unable to access his own Dhamma roots. Pause. We all know Nelson Mandela. Often quoted, are all people born with innate goodness? And if I could quote him somewhat accurately, yes, he is said to have said. However, one must know how to access it. That's the key right here, is to nurture and learn how to intelligently access the goodness within the other, both among our own revolutionary friends within the country right now, courageously taking to the streets and in their homes and banging and chanting, but equally, we are many, they are few. How do we access the innate goodness within the military generals, Tan Shui, Min Aung Hlaing, the puppet president, the foreign minister that's been implanted? How to creatively, through all means necessary right now. You are the people, and I will talk about my people around the world. How to creatively reinvent revolution. That's the point I'd like to make. But show us in the world. Just imagine, for example, back on January 6th when the President Trump was giving his speech just outside of the White House, and he made mention of the Capitol building and to peacefully march and so on and so forth. And we all know that was wrong, the violence of a few people that went into the Capitol building. Imagine if President Trump at that time had said, listen, from my humble opinion, I think things are irregular and wrong, and I think I want to give due process, every possible support to breathe into our great Constitution, okay? I would like to encourage all people, Democrats, Republicans, all people in this country to take an hour and to meditate in silence and to send metta, loving thoughts to the people in the Capitol building. Let's surround our legally representative people with love to do their job well. Imagine in silence, the whole world went, oh my God. Did Donald Trump do a meditation retreat and he learned metta meditation from some teacher secretly within Myanmar? Imagine how different the world would be right now. You, Myanmar, you people of Burma, all ethnicities, have a moment to unite. I don't really see, and I say this from the outside with great humility, I don't particularly see that what's happened is a colossal setback. I see it as what U Chi Mung would often tell me, a necessary annoyance in the long march to freedom. How would, I know Minko 9, Coco G, the student leaders from back in '88, they're older now, wiser now, creative. Take leadership and steward this revolution into a new breathtaking expression of the flower metaphor of bhavana in action. Beautify the country. You know, one of the great things that I had the opportunity to experience being with Dasu a number of times, back in 95 and 96, after her first 6 years of house arrest when she was released. You'll remember on January 4th, 1996, Independence Day, 50 years from the time of overcoming the white supremacist from the UK. I'll get into that. This is the second great independence movement. February 121, 2/1/21 will go down in history as the second great independence. What will you do today that's been different than 2007, in 88, in 72, in 62? I say, let us see a blossoming that we've never seen in the world before, of a celebration of the power of Dhamma, of the prayer of the Catholic and the Christian, of the Muslim, of the atheist, of the Jew, of the agnostic. The people of Burma come together and unite and show General Ming Online and the military generals and the police force another way. Dude, you got it wrong. Give him an opportunity. And I know this is a stretch. Give him an opportunity to save face. Aung San Suu Kyi may very well be released on February 15th. Make sure she is released. Make sure U Win Taint is released. Make sure the other 142 people who are detained are released. Make sure the 54 million people of Myanmar are liberated to engage in their ongoing democracy flowering. How? Invite creatively. Creative activism is the key here. I don't necessarily know that Aung San Suu Kyi or U Pandita or U Win Tin or U Win Taint or U Tin U or U Chi Mung or even Minko. Civil disobedience, yes. Engage creatively and restrain. Take all the money out of the military machine, all the cronies, isolate. But at the same time, go, oh my God, If I were if I were General Ming Online and U Pandita was talking to me, Alan, talk to him in such a way that you can speak to his fears, his own moha, his own ignorance, and don't criticize him like some, arrogant father. Yes, he's done wrong, but change is most important for the youth, for the future of the country. How can we bring change? You have a thing called the Yanyet, the all day and often all night poetic festival. Our Burning Man you do once a month sometimes when you really are feeling it. I say on street corners rather than marching all throughout the country. Every village can participate. Increase the frequency of the Anyat. Bring in people, poetry, puppetry, music, dance, storytelling, acting. Inspire the people. Educate them on the beauty of freedom, of forgiveness, of reconciliation, of healing, of unity. Show in action. Ming Online, why would you be thinking you need to use water cannons on poets and rap musicians and hip-hop singers and dancers? Isn't that kind of stupid? We want to creatively activate in us and in them. For those foot soldiers around Ming Online and the police and the military, how stupid it would be to think that using weapons upon festival-going, creative-minded people would do anything other than humiliate and tarnish our own reputations, our own institutions, and as Buddhists, many of these military and police are, an unforgivable karma that they would have to live with. I say give them no opportunity to use weapons or water or to jail anyone. Show through joy, show through dana, show through sila, show through bhavana, whatever is necessary to elevate the status of this revolution to the highest, most radiant expression of Dhamma. That to me would be the gift of this moment within Burma. Point one. I'm on the outside, obviously. I have such a reverence for the people of Myanmar. I've been all over the country. I speak the language a little bit. I've been blessed to be a student as a monk of Mahasi Sayadaw, the great Dhamma teacher, the great mindfulness teacher. Think of that word mindfulness around the world today, what we can do on the outside. I practice yoga, I practice meditation, I practice my Dhamma, I believe in Dana, Sila, Bhavana, I believe in multiple lifetimes and births, I believe in my samsaric sangha, I believe in deep resonance among people. I do feel these kind of interchangeable, intercyclical relationships, and I've felt it from the people of Myanmar. My point, around the world today, we can unite, not just as Buddhists, yes, Buddhists too, from Korea, from Japan, from Tibet, from all over the EU, from Canada to Australia, to America, to South America, to Africa. Buddhists unite because in many ways the people of Myanmar, the predominant religion in Myanmar, the Buddhists of Myanmar, have brought forth, and I know, I've been there, brought forth this ancient transformational practice, just like India brought forth yoga, India brought forth mindfulness and Dhamma, and Myanmar preserved these ancient practices. We around the world for the last 50 years have been the beneficiaries of sati in context for the elevation of dignity and liberty for one and other. I call upon all mindfulness practitioners, whether you're Buddhist or not, for us to get actively involved around the world through creative activism, through the power of the meme. Let us create, as you did in '88, a revolution of the spirit that went around the world and swept people up in the joy and the magnificence that all people of all faiths, citizens of democracy worldwide, could participate in Burma's struggle for freedom. Your struggle became our struggle. What will unite us around the world? Freedom. You are at the forefront today of democracy in action. You're not a third or fourth world, slightly irrelevant country. You are the peak of revolution today. Show America, show the EU, show Germany, show Australia, show us in the White House what it means to achieve your dream of unifying your 54 million people. All ethnicities have a chance now. It's black and white. Isolate the military through the power of the prayer, through the power of poetry, through the power of Dhamma, through Catholicism, through Christianity, through the power of the heart. Show this heartfelt, blossoming, flower-generated revolution. Turn the generals into, on national TV, Ming Online is going to say, I made a mistake. Show this man the power of redemption. Why not, right? Down with dictators and old paradigm. Up with the status of his conscience. Have the family, have the children, have the military, have the regional commanders, have the police, all be so inspired that, yes, let's make our country great. Right now, what's been done is tarnished badly. And I wouldn't be surprised that General Ming Online and Tan Shui, they're up there cowering in their mansions with all their guns around them, with all their wealth and offshore accounts, and going, everyone hates us. And maybe even my wife does too, and my children does too. And God forbid, maybe even Tan Shui hates me, and maybe I'm, oh my God, I have nowhere to go. No one wants me. There's going to be sanctions around the world. There's no out. I'm under house arrest in my mansion with a gun. It's been completely reversed. And that's what I say to the people of Burma. Reverse the situation. They are few. We are many. Mindfulness practitioners around the world, send letters to Ming Online. Show him the power of Dhamma, the power of mindfulness. Send memes around the world. Everyone's Facebook, everyone's Twitter lead, everyone's Instagram page, everyone's Telegram page, everyone's social media feed. Turn it into a global revolution of freedom in support of the people of Burma. Let the whole world bear witness and participate. We want something to unify us. It's not happening in America. It's not happening in the EU. Burma. It is your chance to take the world stage. And I'm inviting, may I invite in all humility, may the student leaders now older, and may the real leaders in Myanmar, may they take center stage and elevate the status of this thing into a festival. Dance and poetry. Let us hear songs that get played on the radio around the world on the power of freedom, the power of dignity. I spent many, many hours and days and months talking to many of your leaders. Some of them have passed away. Daw Aung San Suu Kyi, of course, Waseda U Pandita, U Win Tin, a mind-blowing gentleman who spent 20 years in solitary confinement, who refused to take off his prison garb, who gave all of his contracts away for his literature, who lived in a small little hut, open air, to stand in solidarity to global human rights and to the political prisoners of Burma. These are bright, shining examples of dignity in action. I say, rise up. And around the world, creatively, the Buddhists, the Dalai Lama, Buddhist leaders in all traditions around the world, let us drop our sectarianism. Let us drop our prejudice. Let us unite here in this very rare moment, an unexpected moment of opportunity. Thank you, Ming Online. You have galvanized international support to a crusade of nonviolent democracy that the world has never seen. Let us seize the opportunity and show the power of redemption, the power of reconciliation. Because if you can get it right in Myanmar, guess what? You have shown the world, and I've been a believer of your country from the get-go, long before 88 started. I got there in 77, but in 88 I was inspired long before Aung San Suu Kyi won the Nobel Peace Prize. I knew U Tin U. We were monks together. I've seen the power of Dhamma in your country. I've seen the power of your people. I've never seen Dana. Give food, support to the policemen. Show through example why democracy is important. It was one thing to have voted, which you did, and you won an overwhelming landslide victory for democracy and a civilian government. But voting isn't just one form of freedom, and freedom and voting are just one expression of democracy. Freedom is something that we do every day, all day, the way we talk, who we associate with, the manner of our speech, what we do with our belongings, how we give, how we think, how we stand. It's the yoga of dignity. May I encourage you, live in freedom. Don't wait for the military to give it to you, right? When I've interviewed in my books with Fergus, Burma's Voices of Freedom, we had close to 35 former political prisoners in these books. It is mind-blowing. Get these books into the hands of leaders. They explain the crisis in your people's words. I read the media. They're uninformed. These 4 volumes, Burma's Voices of Freedom, they should be in the hands of everyone in the United Nations, all politicians, all presidents and prime ministers and leaders in the media. You're uninformed. Read these books. Read Seda U Pandita's books, Wisdom for the World, Advice for My People. And show the world an opportunity here of what revolution in a modern day expression looks like. Develop memes. Mindfulness matters. Show the gentleman a monastery where he and his colleagues in the military can go and give them an elegant out. Because they have nowhere to go from Naypyidaw. No one wants them. They don't want to go to China. They don't want to go live with Kim Jong-un in North Korea. They don't want to end up in the criminal court. I say depressure the so convenient denigration of them. That's an old paradigm. Isolate through elevation of possibility. I say all Buddhists around the world, make it clear in 10,000 different ways of civil disobedience the importance for the generals and the leading regional commanders in Burma's military. They're all Buddhists. You got it wrong, guys. You got it wrong. You don't do this to your people. The people have spoken. They're speaking. They don't want your idea of control. They know that you're on the shore. They don't want you to take them out of the water to save them from drowning. You know, they like the water. They're in the water. They're not going to be coward this time. They will not stop. The youth will not be stopped, but it must be done skillfully. These men with guns, I'm not trying to instill fear, but I say remove all pretext, all conditions for any possibility of being literally, no pun intended, triggered. Aha, got it early on in the revolution. It was one thing in 88 to take to the streets. It only took a week for them to come out with their bayonets and their guns. Don't give them the chance. Put those water cannons back in the barracks, dude. Put those guns down. De-ammunitionize them. Show through example the power of your freedom. Live freely is the best expression of revolution right now. The way you move, the way you dress, the way you put on thanika and makeup and jewelry. Look so beautiful. Give generously through your actions. Show through the power of sila and restraint what's possible in living within a democratic society infused with deep multiculturalism. One of the beauties of your country, to state the obvious for those who do or do not know, is that you have so many different dialects and languages and ethnicities and religions, all within a country the size of Texas or France. An ancient land, breathtaking complexity. You know, I was looking back in some of the historical moments about Myanmar, and I think it was Winston Churchill's father, who was the Governor General of India back in the mid-1800s, had the grand white supremacist idea of, let me take this jewel of the Orient, Burma, Myanmar, and deliver it to the beloved Queen in England. Thus began 135 years and 2 wars that you know so well of white, supremacist, imperialistic, genocidal occupation. You in your country, as many of us in our country, we have systemic, traumatic, historical roots. You know, I'm not a psychiatrist, but I have a strong inclination towards the psychological and the Dhamma fused. When I look at these generals and the people in Burma, from Ne Win to Tan Shui to all the whole succession post-independence, traumatized men, not uncommon around the world. We develop our strength and our vitality through domination and power, privilege, and all the ways that you want to mask it through the euphemisms of neoliberalism and neocolonialism and endless forever wars. And as Nelson Mandela said, you must creatively find the good in another. People are born free. They are not born knowing how to hate, he said. You must learn how to hate, and you must learn how to love. And this is the edge of revolution I see, of nonviolent expression of revolution in Myanmar right now. These men don't know how to love. Yes, we saw in the Third Reich in Nazi Germany that good men could listen, as it's been quoted, to Bach and Schopenhauer and go to exterminate the deplorables in the day. You can juxtapose and live in this radical, epic level of cognitive dissonance, holding contrary truths, upholding the moral high ground and exterminating that which you don't like. Thus is this samsara. Thus is this circumstance in Naypyidaw. But you of the good people of Myanmar, the Catholics, the Jews, the Muslims, the Buddhists, the atheists, you know better. You know what it means to live with little, and they have a lot. I say, show them another way. And for 134 years or 35 years, you lived under the white supremacist boot. And you look at historically of U Ottama, the monk who went to India, who learned from Gandhi and brought back the ancient power of not pacifying one's own being, but the power of unleashed nonviolent speech, the power of unleashed unviolent action, the power of creative activism. I refuse to cower in conformity and in fear. And Daw Aung San Suu Kyi's father, as you know so well, General Aung San, young students from nowhere, except they felt their conscience come alive and they stood up. They were underground. They were terrorists to the white supremacists. And look today, okay? They got independence from the great white gorilla of the UK imperialist genocidal country. That wherever they went around the world, they did so at the expense of the indigenous people, often committing acts of mass murder and genocide. Look at Australia. Look what my people in America did. The decimation of the native indigenous population, all in the name of what? You are at the forefront of global democratic evolution, revolution today, Myanmar. And I say that everyone there, and even General Ming Online and Tan Shui, you can be sure he's part of this. You have a chance right here to basically tell your people and tell the world. Imagine right now, I made a mistake. Give it to him. Let him have it on a silver golden platter. Admit to the world, my friend, I made a mistake. Encourage him. I made a mistake. Give the country back to the democratically elected civilian people, and let's resume a parliament that was just beginning to take its position. I'm sorry for the glitch, my people. Please have mercy on me. I am going to retire to a monastery to learn the power of mindfulness meditation. Let's reinvent the story of revolution to encourage him to do just that. Give him an elegant out and a way up for redemption. Give his family, give the cronies, turn the people on him through isolating him up in Napier, wherever he is today, and show him another way. Because there is no back door for these guys. There's no tunnel underneath his thing. He's not going to do a Saddam Hussein where he's going to be chased down into a dark little hole. I don't think that's going to be the way. He has 400,000 men around him that are heavily armed. He has China and Russia covering his back. It's going to be an act of conscience or another dark period. And I think this is where the revolution must be evolved into a higher frequency of bhavana. That's all I wish to say. Let me close. Thank you for letting me participate from the outside. These are only my opinions. I'm not on the streets. I'm not in Myanmar, obviously. But I can imagine, as I thought before this talk today, this sharing quite spontaneously, having known U Pandita for 43 years and Mahasi Sayadaw during my years as a monk before he passed away. The many days and hours speaking with Aung San Suu Kyi. Hours and hours with my friend U Tinu, both as a layman, as a monk. U Chi Mung, my mentor and dear friend, hours and days. U Win Tin, I was blessed to spend. His words are immemorably placed in my heart. U Win Tin, my beloved brother. U A Mong. So many. Minko Nine, Koko Ji. I could go on and on and on. Your people, all of your people, the ethnic leaders. Put down the weapons. Right now is an epic opportunity to finally do it differently. Again, I would encourage not to see this as an immeasurable setback. I get the feeling in my own intuitive existential arteries, if you will, that the dude knows he did wrong. Give him a chance to make good on his own conscience. Get on the national television and say, you know, I was meditating and I think I get it wrong here. I just want to apologize to my people. In fact, in this moment of my own sanctity and feeling and how the world is outraged by my choice, I must have done something wrong. I'm about to have categorical economic and military sanctions imposed upon me, even by my brothers, Premier Xi in China and Premier Putin in Russia. Oh my God, could I be that isolated in what I thought to be right? Yes, you are. I got it wrong, Ming Online. You got it wrong. And those who are around you, who are counseling you, let him know he got it wrong. And there's a way to get it right. It's just the beginning of an attempted coup d'etat. It is not in any way complete. Help him turn it around. Show him a way out. Invite him, just like Donald Trump was nominated for the Nobel Peace Prize, Ming Online. Give him the Nobel Prize. Give the people of Myanmar collectively the Nobel Peace Prize for democracy in action at the cutting edge of 2021. Show the world a new expression of democracy in action. You have it in your hands. So, from my heart to yours, a few points to recap. Seda U Pandita, my beloved meditation and Dhamma teacher, in our book together, Wisdom for the World and Mindful Advice for My People, a set of 9 nights of conversations before he passed away in 2016, he provided for the people of Myanmar a blueprint of revolution, of reconciliation, of nonviolent engagement, of friends and family, and with the military and with the police. Please get that book. It's on Amazon worldwide. I wish I could give it to you all throughout the country. Study it on enlightened leadership, on enlightened revolution, on the power of Dhamma as the force to reconcile good and evil. And the books, Burma's Voices of Freedom. They're your people, the voices of liberation in your own country. U Win Tin, U Tin U, U Chi Mong, Da Aung San Suu Kyi, Archbishop Charles Bo, Min Ko Nine, Koko Ji, dozens and dozens of other women and men spoke in great detail about the Rakhine crisis, about the ethnic minorities. I asked the most difficult questions. Get these books into the hands, may I invite you, of leaders, of those in the media, to the New York Times, to the BBC, to the CNN, to the Australian Broadcasting Service, to the Canadian Broadcast. You're uninformed unless you read them. My colleague, Fergus Harlow, an expert on the Rakhine crisis on Burma. Volume 4, read what he put together in detailed analysis on understanding what went down in Rakhine. You got it wrong in the media, I'm sorry. Nobel laureate women, you've got it wrong. Is it more black and white? I'm not going to crucify or blame or judge anyone in the world. You're right to your freedom of opinion. But read these books. Study them quickly. Read volume 1 and volume 4 to start. But get all 4. Get them into your hands and be informed. Burma is a complex tapestry of peoples, ideology, and even among those who live at the cutting edge, often would disagree. But I got to the soul and to the heart of almost every one of these leaders. And there you will see what the truth is. And the bottom line, nothing's different from 88 to this today. A nonviolent revolution of the spirit. Da Aung San Suu Kyi, U Win Tin, Min Ko Nine, all of them, in their heart, I do believe in what Nelson Mandela said. We must nurture the good in each other right now. We just can't kill off all the evil and expect the light to shine. It ain't going to work that way. We're at a crucial moment in world history. Burma is at that moment where it could deliver a new light of hope. Buddhists around the world, may I invite you, put up on your Facebook page, your Twitter page, your Instagram page, overcome your own retreats, your online work. Burma in solidarity with the Dhamma, in solidarity with freedom. Tweet memes on the power of mindfulness worldwide. Almost everyone in the world who uses mindfulness in their world, you could pretty well trace it back to Burma's first prime minister, U Nu, who started the monastery that I lived in and invited Mahasi Sayadaw back in the 40s to come with 15 meditators learning the ancient practice of Satipatthana. And look around the world today, the power of mindfulness. You could almost trace 98% of everyone who uses the word mindfulness and what they say to those teachings found within that monastery, in those early books from Mahasi Sayadaw. Let us stand in unity today. Mindfulness memes around the world. Send letters, physical letters, to Ming Online. Change your mind, restore democracy, retire, give the country to the people. So from my heart to yours, thank you for your courage, your breathtaking dignity to rise up under these challenging moments. Release Daw Aung San Suu Kyi, release U Win Tain, release the president, release everyone who's detained, release the people, retire, and give peace and democracy a chance. And may I, on a closing note, I don't think it could be emphasized enough. Do it differently this time. There's been successive revolutions in Burma where people have taken to the street nonviolently. We know that. When you see two people dancing and reciting poetry, or a great rap singer or a hip-hop singer doing a Anyet at Suli, where there's 10,000 people celebrating the power of human rights and freedom of expression, it's very difficult to want to denigrate that freedom party. Have the police and the military want to take off their hat and put down their gun and join the revolution. That's what we want in Burma. They are obedient to false authority. Chip away at it slowly to the point where General Ming Online and Tan Shui are under house arrest in Naypyidaw, and let them just stay there in peace and meditate or go to a monastery. So from my heart to yours, I'm going to give this a few days to see how it goes. May I encourage you, share it worldwide. Share it with the people in Burma. Share it everywhere that you feel that you wish to share it. And in a couple of days, I will see how things evolve in Burma and do part 2 of this series, Why Burma Matters, and keep the revolution high. From my heart to yours, we're standing with you, people of Burma. You are not alone, and we are here with you through this nonviolent revolution of the heart. Thank you.